So what will be the difference between straight line and
okay, straight line method is this. Okay. First of all, can you get that? The difference? This number and this number, $100,000 minus 93,137. What is the total difference amount represents? That number is 6863. What's that number? Let's do review. This is good review. What is that $6,863 represent? Is the real money? Real 6,860. Have you seen that money? You are the issuer of the bond. You are the corporation. Pretend you are the corporation who just issued. You issued at discount. Why did you issue this discount? Because your rate is 12%, market is 14%. So far, so good? All right, so now you receive this much cash from Edward. I promised this much to Edward. Now math is not adding up, something not adding up, something missing piece, 6,800. Where is it? Where is it? Missing in action. I never seen that money, did I? He never.
Cost of borrowing the
Right. Remember that we talked about that. I just, for the time's sake, I just give you an answer. Extra cost I have to incur to be able to attract Edward as one of my investors, because he wouldn't buy my bond unless I give him little incentive. What's the incentive? $6,863. But I never touched that money. I never seen that money. I never smelled the money, because he only gave me $93,000. Then what is this? To me, extra cost of borrowing his money. So don't you think I have to recognize that as part of my interest expense? But I'm not talking about $12,000 interest expense. Yeah, that interest expense is my contract. I have to do that. But I'm talking about above and beyond of the $12,000. How much? 6,863. For how long?
5 years.
5 years. I'm answering your question right now. Shita, right? Shita. 5 years. Shita, do you remember Shita's question 5 minutes ago? Straight line, right?
Yeah.
Divide by 5. Are you following me? Okay, so what's the divide by 5?
We are distributing the discount in 5 years.
No, number. 1373, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
Right.
So if I prepare this amortization schedule, it will be 13. What's the number again? I forgot. Like 13.
13.
So 1373. 1373. Right? Remember that number? 1373. 1373. 1373. 1373. 1373. What's the total?
68.
Same number. But is that correct? Strictly speaking, mathematically speaking, that's not correct. That's same as if you do that, that means, is it 10, 10, 10? It's not, right? Carrying value changes as you move up the timeline, right? So straight line method is ignoring that. But why then every textbook introduces straight line? Right, so they can sell the textbook. Well, this is on recording on the YouTube, so all these authors gonna call me. What did you say? How dare you say that, right? But because it's easier to understand. At least conceptually, message come across. Then we say that, by the way, what you just learned is incorrect. Truly correct is the effective interest rate method.
And that's why it's not, GAAP doesn't allow this method to.
Okay, so speaking of GAAP now, the fast speed. By the way, we can not only talk about GAAP these days. So do you guys know that you are taking this accounting course at a very interesting time? US GAAP will not cut it. in your lifetime, in fact, in next 5 years, U.S. GAAP will be
International?
gone. That's right. This is the dictator. What is this? International Financial Reporting Standard. We will have one, how do you like that? One global standard. How do you like that? Right? How many world do we live? One world. One standard. What we have been doing last 2,000 years? US GAAP different from Russian GAAP, Chinese GAAP, English GAAP. Everybody has GAAP. That means everybody has their own ruler. But if you think about that, Coca-Cola, 80% of Coca-Cola revenue coming from where? Outside the US. But we consider the US corporation, and therefore we are using US yardstick only. Isn't that ridiculous? So people got together where? In Paris, because they have Paris Disneyland there, so they want to go to Disneyland. I'm talking about scholars, all these accounting scholars and practitioners. They got together in Paris. So that's the headquarters. US GAAP is, where's the headquarters? Stamford, Connecticut is the headquarters, right? It's not going to be on the final, don't worry about that, right? But anyway, European is leading the one global, one quality GAAP, one quality accounting rule for every corporation. I mean, you will sit there, yeah, that's making perfect sense. How come we didn't do that in the past? Why we are talking about now? A little late, but it's still better than not to do it, right? Why so it takes so long? Because every country, they have their own ego. Am I right? Especially which country has the biggest ego? Let's not talk about that. I'm gonna get lots of email from YouTube audiences if I keep on doing like that, right? So anyway, the reason I'm still answering your question is because guess what IFRS says? I'm sorry to say this: effective interest method. That's what they say. But current U.S. GAAP at least say that if the amount between the two, what's the in our example? What's the amount, the difference? 1373. Remember that? 1373 versus 1039 amount. It's not that much, right? So they say it's acceptable. How about this number? 1373? The difference is even smaller. How about this number? My goodness, it's really getting close. 1373 is only less than $20 difference. Am I right?
Right.
How about this number? 13. Now it's reversed. How about this number? 1748. So if I teach an intermediate accounting course, I do this graph. That's the difference, summarizing between the two methods. Do you see that? So earlier years, earlier time, who has a higher amortization?
Straight line.
Straight line. Oh, you already forgot? 1373 versus 1039. And later, who has a higher? Effective interest method is a lot higher. But what's the total? What's the difference between the two? No difference in total, only timing differences. So what I'm just teaching you is actually intermediate. Okay, don't worry about this, all right? I'm only answering the Shita's question. That's a good question, but that's sounds like Shita should major in accounting. Right? I'm not gonna, nobody teach this level.